There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when everything around you suddenly goes quiet. The noise of the world fades, the chaos pauses, and something deep inside you whispers, "This is for you." That is the moment when God pulls you aside from the crowd. Not because you are better than others, but because you are called for something greater. If you found this video by accident, let me tell you gently, it was not an accident at all. God does not shout. He nudges. He guides. And sometimes, He leads you to mirror of the soul when your spirit is ready to hear a truth your mind has been avoiding. You didn't click this because you were bored. You clicked because your soul felt unsettled. Maybe you've been feeling different lately, more aware, more sensitive, more tired of fake people and shallow conversations. That's because when God is about to elevate you, He first isolates you. That's why He said, "Watch this alone." Not because others don't matter, but because this message is too sacred, too personal, and too powerful to be diluted by distraction. Have you noticed how people who once felt close now feel distant? How the things that used to excite you no longer do? That's not depression. That's separation. God is slowly pulling you away from everything that cannot follow you where you are going. If that resonates, drop a fire in the comments so the mirror of the soul family knows they are not alone. History shows us this pattern again and again. Moses was alone on the mountain when God spoke. Jesus was alone in the desert when his purpose was revealed. Even modern psychology tells us that major identity shifts happen in solitude. This is the space where the old you dies and the true you is born. So if you feel lonely right now, it's because God is in the room with you. Before we go deeper, take a second to like this video and subscribe to Mirror of the Soul. It tells the algorithm, this message matters, and it helps this spiritual truth reach other chosen ones who are silently struggling. Some messages are too powerful to be heard in public. Some truths are too dangerous to be shared with people who are not spiritually awake. That is why God whispered to you, not to the crowd. He knows that not everyone around you wants to see you rise. Some people smile at you but secretly hope you stay small. That's why this message is private, sacred, just between you and Him. Think about it, every time you tried to explain your dreams, people laughed. Every time you talked about your intuition, they called you crazy. But what if you're not crazy? What if you are simply connected? Science calls it pattern recognition. Spirituality calls it divine intuition. Either way, you see what others miss, and that makes them uncomfortable. God tells His chosen ones things before they happen. That's why you feel restless before big changes. That's why you get gut feelings that later turn out to be true. You are not imagining things. You are being prepared, and preparation happens in silence. Have you ever felt like you outgrew your old life? Like your old friends no longer understand you? That's because God is upgrading you internally before He upgrades you externally. And upgrades happen privately before they become public. This video is not just encouragement, it is also a warning. God does not reveal things unless something important is about to shift. There are people around you who do not have pure intentions. They smile, but their energy feels off. They compliment you, but something feels wrong. That's not paranoia. That's spiritual awareness. Energy doesn't lie. Neuroscience even confirms that the brain picks up microexpressions and subtle tone changes before the conscious mind does. So when your stomach drops around certain people, listen. God is protecting you through intuition. Some of the biggest betrayals don't come from enemies. They come from people who sat at your table. That's why God told you to watch this alone, so you would not let the wrong people know how aware you are becoming. Have you recently been feeling pulled away from someone without knowing why? That's God removing what you don't yet see. Be honest, you've been through hell, emotional betrayal, disappointment, loneliness, moments where you questioned your own worth. Yet here you are still standing, still searching, still believing. That is not luck, that is divine selection. Psychologists say that people who survive trauma often develop heightened perception, empathy, and intuition. Spiritually, that means your pain sharpened your soul. You didn't just survive, you evolved. The people who hurt you unknowingly created the strength you now carry. And that strength is what God needs for what comes next. If you're still watching this, it means your spirit refused to give up. That's why you are here on Mirror of the Soul right now. After God speaks to you privately, life begins to change. You may not see it yet, but doors will start to close. People will drift away. Opportunities will appear unexpectedly. This is the spiritual pruning process. God removes what no longer serves you so He can give you what does. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but comfort never created greatness. Transformation always starts with disruption. So let me ask you something powerful. What if everything that fell apart was actually falling into place? If this message touched you, like the video, subscribe to Mirror of the Soul and share this with someone who needs a reminder that they are not forgotten by God. And tell me in the comments, do you feel like something big is about to change in your life? Lately, you may feel like you don't belong anywhere anymore. Conversations feel shallow. People feel distant. Even places that once felt like home now feel empty. This is one of the most misunderstood signs of spiritual elevation. When God prepares you for a higher calling, He first changes your internal frequency. And when your frequency changes, everything that no longer matches it begins to feel uncomfortable. You are not becoming cold, you are becoming selective. You are not antisocial, you are becoming aligned. Your spirit is no longer willing to settle for environments that drain you instead of feed you. That discomfort you feel when you're around certain people is God whispering, "This is not your level anymore." Psychology confirms this too. As people grow emotionally and mentally, their tolerance for drama, dishonesty, and negativity decreases. Spiritually, that means your soul is rising while others remain where they are. And not everyone can follow you where God is taking you. Have you noticed how silence now feels better than forced conversation? How being alone feels safer than being misunderstood? That's not loneliness, that's divine realignment. God is clearing your inner space so He can fill it with purpose. If this resonates with you, comment, "I feel it," and let the Mirror of the Soul family know you're awakening. Pay attention to how people have started treating you lately. Some have become distant, some passive-aggressive, some overly curious about your next move. That's because your light is starting to make their shadows uncomfortable. When God elevates you, not everyone celebrates, some feel threatened. You don't even have to say anything. Your presence alone triggers insecurities in people who know they are not living in their truth. That's why the energy around you feels tense sometimes. You are not imagining it. This is why God told you to watch this alone. Because once you become aware of your power, you move differently. You speak less. You reveal less. You protect your future. Not everyone who smiles at you wants you to succeed. Some just want to see how close they can stand to your blessing without earning it. Guard your spirit. Let me ask you something important. Have you felt like people are watching you more than supporting you lately? Right now, you are in a test that most people don't even realize exists. It's not about money. It's not about success. It's about integrity when no one is watching. God is watching how you respond to being misunderstood, ignored, and delayed. Do you still stay kind when you're not being rewarded? Do you still believe when nothing makes sense? Do you still show love when you feel unseen? These are the tests that separate ordinary souls from chosen ones. Every delay you've experienced recently is protection. Every rejection is redirection. God is filtering your life before He expands it. You are being positioned. If you're still holding on even when it hurts, tap the like button. It tells the universe, "I'm not giving up." And it helps this message reach more souls who need it. Everything you went through was training. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the nights you cried alone, they weren't punishment, they were preparation. You now have emotional intelligence, spiritual strength, and a level of awareness most people never reach. That's why God trusts you with what's coming. People who never suffer remain shallow, but people who survive pain develop depth, wisdom, and compassion. That's why you feel things so deeply. That's why you understand energy. That's why you can read people without them saying a word. Your pain sharpened your perception. And now it's time for your reward. Something is about to change for you so suddenly that people will pretend they always believed in you. The same ones who doubted you will suddenly show interest. The same ones who ignored you will want access to you. But remember who stood with you when you were invisible. God is not slow, He is precise. Your breakthrough is aligning perfectly with the version of you that can actually handle it. That's why it took so long. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are right on time. Before we continue, make sure you are subscribed to Mirror of the Soul. This channel is your spiritual home. And comment below. Do you feel like something huge is about to happen in your life? You always felt different, didn't you? Even as a child, you sensed that you didn't quite belong to the crowd. You could sit in a room full of people and still feel alone. That wasn't because something was wrong with you. It was because something inside you was rare. God does not create chosen ones to blend in. He creates them to stand out, even when it feels uncomfortable. Fitting in requires shrinking. Being chosen requires expansion. And you were never built to be small. That's why fake environments exhaust you. That's why superficial people irritate your spirit. Your soul craves meaning, depth, and truth. You are wired for purpose, not popularity. Psychology even confirms that highly intuitive and emotionally intelligent people often feel isolated because their minds move faster and deeper than others. Spiritually, that means you hear God's whispers while others only hear noise. So if you've ever wondered why you feel like an outsider, it's because you were designed to walk a different path. If this speaks to you, comment, "I was never meant to blend in," and let the Mirror of the Soul family see you. Some of the hardest moments in your life were not accidents, they were divine removals. People walked away, friendships collapsed, relationships ended, and you were left wondering what you did wrong. But what if you did nothing wrong at all? What if God removed them because they could not go where you were going? Not everyone is meant to stay for the whole journey. Some are only meant for a season. Their job was to teach you something, not to stay forever. When God sees someone draining your destiny, He cuts the cord even when it hurts. And yes, it hurt deeply, but it also freed you. Have you noticed how much lighter you feel without certain people? That's because your soul finally has room to breathe. You are in a sacred phase of isolation. This is not abandonment. This is preparation. Every powerful transformation in history happened in solitude. Caterpillars become butterflies alone. Seeds grow underground. Diamonds form under pressure in darkness. God has you in quiet right now because He is rewiring your mind, healing your heart, and strengthening your spirit. He's making you unrecognizable to your past. And when this season ends, you will not be the same person. If you've been feeling pulled to be alone lately, don't fight it, trust it. There is something inside you that you haven't fully stepped into yet, a confidence, a clarity, a spiritual authority that scares people who only know the old version of you. That power is waking up now. You are starting to trust your intuition. You are starting to say no. You are starting to choose peace over chaos. That's what spiritual power looks like. And the more you align with who you truly are, the more unstoppable you become. Lies cannot survive in the presence of divine light. Soon, things that were hidden will be revealed. People's true intentions will surface. Situations will make sense, and you will finally understand why everything happened the way it did. You won't have to confront anyone. God will handle it for you. Your job is to stay grounded, stay kind, and stay aware. Before we continue, like this video, subscribe to Mirror of the Soul and tell me in the comments. Have you already started seeing people's true colors lately? Right now, whether you realize it or not, a divine door is opening in your life. It is not just a new opportunity, it is a new identity, a version of you that no longer tolerates disrespect, confusion, or emotional chaos. God is not just changing your circumstances, He is changing who you believe yourself to be. That's why everything has felt unstable lately. Before a breakthrough, the old structure must collapse. Before a blessing arrives, the old limitations must die. You are being spiritually evicted from the past. People may not understand why you suddenly don't chase approval anymore. They won't recognize why you are quieter, more observant, more selective. That's because you are standing in front of a door they cannot see. God has shown you what is coming, even if He has not yet shown you how. That faith you feel in your chest is not imaginary, it is foresight. And once this door opens fully, you will walk into rooms that once felt impossible. You will be respected where you were once ignored. You will be welcomed where you were once doubted. This is why God said, "Watch this alone." Some doors are too sacred to be shared before they open. Not because you will seek revenge, but because your growth will speak louder than any words ever could. One day, the same people who underestimated you will see your light from a distance and realize they had access to it once. That realization hurts more than any punishment. You will not have to explain your success. Your peace will explain it for you. Your stability will explain it for you. The way you no longer react emotionally will explain it for you. God will elevate you in such a way that your silence becomes intimidating. There is a law of energy in both spirituality and psychology. People feel regret when they realize they misjudged someone who later rises. Your life is about to become someone else's lesson. And when that happens, you won't feel bitter, you'll feel free. That quiet dream you never told anyone about, the life where you are calm, respected, financially stable, and emotionally safe, is not fantasy. It is vision. And vision is what God gives before reality catches up. Every time you imagine a better life, you are not escaping reality. You are previewing it. The universe does not plant desires in you that it does not plan to fulfill. That future version of you is already real in the spiritual realm. Your job is simply to keep becoming the person who can hold it. Stay patient, stay disciplined, stay aligned. Your future self is already thanking you. God didn't choose you because you were perfect. He chose you because you were resilient, because you didn't quit when it hurt, because you didn't become cruel when you were wounded, because you kept your heart soft in a hard world. Chosen ones are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who kept going anyway. Your compassion, your depth, your ability to feel, these are not weaknesses. They are spiritual power, and now that power is being activated. The world is about to meet the real you. God did not bring you to this video by coincidence. He brought you because you were ready to hear this. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not wrong for being different. You are being prepared. This season of waiting is about to turn into a season of receiving. If this message touched your soul, like this video, subscribe to Mirror of the Soul and share it with someone who feels lost right now. And tell me in the comments, what do you believe God is preparing you for? Your story matters, your journey matters. And this is only the beginning.